Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another cast by Kibbles and Bits. I've got for you here DreamHack Valencia 2011 Match 2 between EGIdra, spawning in the 12 o'clock position of this map, Metalopolis, versus his opponent, who you saw previously in the bottom. He is our blue Protoss today. His name is LiquidHero, and he did a fantastic job taking game one between these two guys on Shakoros Plateau earlier. And I was thinking about it after watching that replay, and casting, I guess, and it looks like with the position of this pylon, it looks as if he is going to be going for yet another Forge Fast expand. And that could work out really, really well for him with the positions that these two players are in. So I was looking at that replay, and I honestly feel like Hero did a lot of studying against Idra. That's honestly, he seems like he really, really knew his opponent, because he went for this very special build where he warped in those sentries and seemed to know the timings of Idra, because if he had warped in those sentries like a few seconds later, all those infestors would have been popped and his sentries would have just gotten fungled while they were on their way to the ramp. But he hit this really nice timing where Idra's infestors were still like 20 seconds from being done. And if, you know, Idra goes infestors very, very often. As I said, I watch a lot of Idra stream. And infestors is one of like his, it's like his bread and butter, you know, of StarCraft 2, especially of ZVP. And he gets the infestors out at a similar timing every game. Mutas are his bread and butter in ZVT. So I believe that, you know, Hero knew that timing and just capitalized on it. He was like, look, your infestors aren't going to pop yet. I'm going to wall you off, and then I'm going to kill your infestors as they spawn, and then I'll do what I can to kill your high ground. So it looks like, man, just continuing to deny this expansion. What a fantastic job by Hero. Idra pulling up to, he's got 400 minerals now. And now that the shield is regenerated, I'm very surprised that Idra couldn't get that, couldn't finish that probe off. And this is quite a mess for Idra right now, as he has not even dropped a pylon. Oh, he does in fact get the expansion down, and here come the Zerglings to clean up the mess that Idra created, really, because Hero's expanding behind this. His Nexus is already 3/4 done. He's got a cannon underway, and I could see Idra pulling some sort of rage quit here, because you know, he gets frustrated pretty easily, and I mean, it would be out of place for him to rage quit quite so early, but he's gonna be pretty far behind now. I mean, the worker counts are dead even, and now Hero's gonna be pumping workers out. And you see, he's got a lot of chrono boost saved up. He's ready to make a lot of workers. So Idra's opting, you know what? I'm not even gonna poke in there. I'm just gonna put my Zerglings outside, and in fact, does he see that probe? I did not see him select these Zerglings. In fact, he just selected them there a second too late. So now this probe looks like it might actually get out, even though it was in the scouting range of those Zerglings. But he does see it now with the Overlord, in fact. So he's aware that probe has departed its base and is now going up to do some shenanigans somewhere. Somewhere it's going to do some shenanigans. Pulling up in this position, what are you up to? Are you just making him spend a lot of time looking for that probe? I really wonder what Hero intends to do with that probe. We'll have to come back. A Twilight Council going down, and with the positioning of this probe, I really feel like Hero wants to go for fast DTs. He is gathering 2 gas. It looks like he's about to drop a 3rd. Yes, he is. So DTs are quite the likely choice for Hero at this point, and it's quite unfortunate, you know, that Idra wrap this Overlord all the way around. He's really not going to get any scouting intel. It looks like he's going to be warping in this DT shrine. Well, you can't warp it there. It's out of pylon range. So I'm curious to see where, you know what, he is. He's going to warp it like right here. This pylon will stop Zergling run-bys. I don't know. Maybe he's going to warp it on the high ground. I'm looking to see. And maybe he's not going for DTs. I mean, Blink Stalker's always a possibility. And seeing as he's chronoing out these, I really think he's going like Blink Stalker or something at this point. Nope, saving the 200. See, I was wondering why he was chronoing out those probes, because it was keeping his mineral count low, which was stopping him from being able to actually drop a Dark Shrine. but he did have it really just set up perfectly. So DTs, you know, are the follow-up here. Makes sense because he's not researching +1. When you see Blink Stalkers a lot of times, you do see +1. So I was correct the first time. Should not bother with reneging. And the downside is Idra hasn't seen this pylon. He did see that probe leave, and the probe came into scout. Seeing as we didn't see it return, maybe it did. I don't know. Was too busy trying to figure out if he's going DT, and he is going Dark Templar. And now this Overlord's going to come in here. You can see these gateways, but that's pretty much all he's going to be able to see. Got a sentry here. He needs to not be distracted by these Zerglings, though. This Overlord could end up seeing this Dark Templar shrine. Now he's selecting it. Now he's targeting it with his sentries. I wonder if he's going to make it in time. I think Idra might see this Dark Shrine here. It's going to be close. This Overlord is now at half health. He's going to try to slip these Zerglings in the front, and I think he may just get a peek with this Overlord at the last second. Idra does. I think he saw the Dark Shrine there. Let's take a look. He did see the Dark Shrine with that Overlord. So great job there by Overlord getting every last second out, and immediately drops the Spore Crawlers. No hesitation whatsoever. So now this is probably a Roach Warren. Yeah, he's got the Roach Warren popping up, and he's just going to make a few Roaches. Not too many here. I like the choice of 2 Spore Crawlers for this third because it's, you know, it's a long ways away. It's isolated, and this way it can't be easily sniped. So he's got these Zerglings sitting in a position. He's actually going to take them over towards the third because a lot of Dark Templar just came in. And this is why I said he needs to make some Roaches. He's got 4 popping out right now. Really nicely splitting them between each of his bases, actually. Look, 1 Roach here, 1 Roach spawn there, 2 Roaches spawn here. And I think he should have kept them that way, at least for now. But 2 Dark Templars just hanging out there. He really could make an Overseer and push those back. But Overseers are still pretty expensive as of now, so... I saw 100 gas disappear into something. What was it? It was Glial Reconstitution, or Burrow rather. He's researching Burrow, and he is coming down for a little bit of Speedling harass here, but gonna see, well, he didn't actually see that the third was not down. But from here, it looks like he is going to be transitioning into a Blink Stalker build. This can be pretty dangerous for a Zerg player. Because when you force spores, you know, you force all these resources and drones to be lost. And then you force roaches in a sense. I mean, Hydras, you could probably stutter step pretty well with Hydras, but roaches just don't. Nice slipping this DT in here. By Hero, gotta commend him on that one. But yeah, roaches don't do very well against Blink Stalkers. So he's gonna come in here, and he's actually got a lot of sentries. So I want to say this could potentially do a lot of damage to Idra. He's only got 3 Roaches on the way. I don't see where his units are at, but he's only got a total of 4 Roaches and 11 Zerglings right now. And this Protoss army could just absolutely mess him up. So it looks like Hero wants to just poke in and force some Roaches, though, you know, he didn't realize how small Idra's force actually was. He could have done a lot of damage hitting, you know, before these Infestors pop out. Which, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't know Idra's Infestor timing so well, but he manages to force field some Lings up here, and that's pretty nice. That's exactly the kind of thing, you know, he should be doing, because killing Zerglings forces more Zerglings if Idra wants to maintain his unit comp, and that's exactly what he's doing here. Another 14 Speedlings on the way. So, now a second Evo chip. Sorry, my frame rate keeps dropping. I think it's because I'm encoding Game 1 behind this while I'm doing it, but... Looking, you know what, the worker tab's really going to say everything. 7-7 to 60. This is actually a pretty equal game. Yeah, Idra's ahead in food count, but roaches are really fatty. They take up a lot of food for really no reason. One of the things, I feel like Idra's maybe a little ahead, because in this situation, he has been able to drone pretty heavily. He's on saturated, almost saturated 3 base right now. But Hero did go the right tech to handle this, but now it's a little late to be making a push here, and these Fungals are just going to cause absolute devastation to occur upon Hero's units. That whole army getting pretty cleaned up pretty easily, and you know what? Idra's now like, you got a pylon up there. He's going to notice that immediately, I hope. Yep, he does see this pylon. And this is kind of bad engaging by Idra. He should pull these forces back and just let these Stalkers go home. He's done the damage he needs to do. He killed 4 sentries. He's been able to drone up absolutely insanely behind this, as Protoss units are just extremely difficult to replace, to put it bluntly. So a high Templar switch here, and that could be dangerous for EGIdra. As I said, he loves to go heavy Infestor in PvZ. Sometimes straight up just making like a bajillion Infestors, like making so many Infestors it's unreasonable. And that could cause a lot of problems for him if Hero, you know, goes this high Templar route and gets off a lot of feedbacks on his opponent. He has already researched Storm at this point. It just says they don't have the energy yet. And here come the Storms. So he has these really nice options of like, do I want to lay down Storms or do I want to feedback? But Hero's gonna have to lay down some really nice force fields to fend off this aggression, because that's a lot of roaches. Yeah, EGIdra did research +1s. You know, those roaches are doing 18 instead of 16. And he's matching the upgrades here, but he is no, he's not matching the upgrades. That's what I was curious about. Hero does actually have +2 upgrades, and I think that was a really nice timing for EGIdra to push that he is choosing not to capitalize upon. You know, he's not droning behind this. I mean, he is now. You know, you see 9 drones were on the way, so a total of 9 because these 3 were also included. So he is droning a little bit behind this. But I think he had this opportunity here to like make either a good counterattack to all those units that he just killed, all those sentries and stuff, or to expand like crazy, get an absolutely absurd economy, and then move from there. But he is now taking a 5th base. And I like that, you know, he'll be able to get some good gas, but this Dark Templar coming in that early, where's his Overseer? Okay, he's actually morphing one right here, so this expansion will be just fine. Oh, well, that's because EGIdra saw the Dark Templar, actually. So, I'm curious with the APMs right now here, it was just through the roof. Colossus Bay going down and a Warp Prism coming in, and I wonder if we're going to see some more of that Sentry play that we saw earlier with that Warp Prism. You know, he could just cause problems with, like, a Dark Templar or 2, and a Force Field. You know, and just dropping a high-energy Sentry. He does have a lot of them. So, somewhat of an engagement going down right now. Lots of Fungals moving those Sentries into the front. Hero with some really poor micro again. He actually had all of his Sentries and his High Templar all together and bundled them up in the front there and got them all fungled. And at this point, Hero's just in a nasty position. Forcing the cancel there on that hatchery, but that really doesn't mean much. But EGIdra needs to make sure he splits his forces appropriately here. Trying to blink up, I don't know what Hero was even thinking there. The High Templars were not in vision range, and he queued up all these blinks, and none of them happened. You guys saw that he just blinked into a wall, but there's kind of a little bit of harass going on everywhere here. These Zealots, actually EGIdra turning back around to deal with this army, and then these Zealots just came back down and killed this hatchery. He's just continuing to warp in more, you know, so he doesn't see this Warp Prism. He's got to be wondering where these Zealots are coming from, because it could cause him a lot of problems. He could further deny this expansion, but he is pushing back these Stalkers now, you know, with the threat of all these forces. But now Hero has really begun to level the playing field. His economy is actually, you know, 3-4 minutes from now going to be a little ahead of EGIdra's, as he does have a 4th base down, and EGIdra does not. He's going to try to drop down this base, but he's still got this Warp Prism chilling there. So these Roaches engaging this massive Protoss army, and I don't really know how I feel about this. There's 3 cannons here, and he doesn't have any fungal growths. The worst case scenario, he loses hit 1. He loses a lot of Infestors in this situation is the worst case. Great case is he trades armies with the Protoss, which is typically exactly what you want to do. All these Dark Templar here are just ripping apart these Roaches, causing massive DPS. This Overseer here coming in way too late. So he did get the Infestors out. As I said, you know, worst case scenario there. But here's the problem. Normally it's great to trade armies with a Protoss player. But that's when you're, you know, ahead economically, like you're supposed to be. But EGIdra in this case is not actually ahead. Look at the worker counts. It's 80 to 86. Protoss is really, you know, quite even with the Zerg right now economically. And that's not a situation in a long-term game that Zerg wants to be in. So pushing right now is not what EGIdra wants to be doing, and he's trying to do exactly that, and his units are going to get absolutely murdered here. Lots of Infestors getting feedback. I don't even know why he's continuing this engagement. He sees he forgets to bring his Overseer in. Did he not remember the Dark Templars that were present last time? The Colossus, the Stalkers, the Archon, the High Templars just ripping apart his army right now. trying to snipe some of these Dark Templars, but that's letting the Protoss army catch up, and he may or may not be able to blink in here and cause massive damage. And here it goes, the blink in killing one Infestor, and he's going to continue chasing down these forces. Idra's going to try to reinforce. He's got 28 Zerglings, 7 Roaches, and 6 Corruptors right now, but he is simultaneously getting harassed in his base by these Dark Templar and warping in, you know, with his Warp Prism. Excellent use of Warp Prisms. I wouldn't be surprised to see a follow-up warp in of 5 Zealots right here to target down this hatchery, but this warp finally being cleaned up, but the Protoss forces are blinking into his main. Hero's just causing massive, this is just hitting him from every front. I think these Zealots are going to warp in at some point. I really just would not be surprised to see that out of Hero. The food count's beginning to equal now. Lots of Stalkers. This Colossi needs to pull back, though. Hero is going to lose that Colossi, and it decides to blink down. Here come warping in of, wow, a lot more than 5 Zealots. Duh, we are in late game here. But a mass amount of Zealots while he knows Idra's forces are completely out of position. Idra trying to make some transition into Broodlord now, but he chases off these drones, and it looks like, okay, he is going to target down this hatchery, and it's going to go down pretty fast here. So this is really the penalty for Idra continually not dealing with this Warp Prism here, and I love he's got 2 Dark Templars warped in, already ready to come down. There is an Overseer, someone in position, but finally, Idra's going to take these Corruptors and go deal with this Warp Prism, and that's what he's needed to do for a very long time now. These Broodlords are coming in to deny this 5th from Hero, but the problem is there's a lot of Blink Stalkers here. Okay, good. Pulling back, really just doing a little bit of harass there, because, and you know what, that was actually a great play by Idra, because if Hero was attempting to make some aggression, and he is making drones behind this, that's exactly what he needs to do, because if Hero was coming to be aggressive, he'll have to pull back there to deal with these Broodlords that were, you know, popping up into his 5th, and then he pulls the Broodlords back in perfect time to keep them alive. So, but he has revealed his Broodlord tech, and that's kind of a bad thing. Wow, Hero taking a lesson from JYP here. JYP is becoming a little famous for his High Templar drops that he absolutely devastated, I think it was MVP Virus with, in Code A matches. So these Dark Templar coming in now, and that was so great. These Corruptors killed Hero with just reading Idra's every move. Was like, all right, this is the time that you're going to kill my Warp Prism. So ahead of time, I'm going to warp in 2 Dark Templar to just sit there, and you'll come in with those Corruptors. And look, the Warp Prism actually coming back now. I don't know that I really like that decision. But it looks like Idra is going to fall for it. Saying I didn't really like it because, you know, the Dark Templar were actually there before, so that would make him suspect. But it looks like he is going to target down the Spire, the Greater Spire here, and even get off some feedbacks on the Infestors. These little Zealot, High Templar harassments are just a mess, and Hero systematically picking apart Idra for the duration of this game. And if this expansion goes down, you know, Hero has been sitting pretty this entire game, and this could just simply spell the death of Idra here. Another expansion going down, and massive storms going down on all of his, you know, Roaches and some of those Infestors, and wow. Idra with the GG. Hero with absolutely meticulous engagements. Every engagement from LiquidHero that game was just so, it was like dissecting a frog. He was just pulling here and pushing there and poking there, and suddenly I just got an image from that movie. It's not, is it Beer Fest? Yeah, it's Beer Fest, where he's just poking the frog in just the right place. But wow, great play here by Hero. I'm gonna remember this game for a long time, because Hero just displayed that in his ZVP, even when he's a little behind, you know, and even he was really behind when he made those bad engagements, losing all those sentries to the fungal grows over here. And he even had a bad engagement over here, if I recall. Even with these terrible engagements and his Dark Templar Shrine getting scouted, and Idra just being pretty well in ahead, he can just pick apart a Zerg player, especially on a map like Metalopolis, where the expansions are well spread out. I'd love to see him play on a map like Tal'Darim Altar or something. So LiquidHero really, you know, taking advantage of Idra's timings in Game 1, and you know, just picking them apart here in Game 2. I'm going to remember what I'm going to remember about Hero, and you guys should remember about Hero, is he knows how to use Warp Prisms to the fullest of their extent. So, great game here between these two guys, but I got to say I'm sad to see Idra go home. So, that actually puts him out 2-0 of the DreamHack Invitational Tournament. we won't be seeing any more games from him. But looking forward to see Hero versus, will he be up against Thorzane, I think, because Thorzane was the winner of Huck versus Thorzane. So Hero versus Thorzane, we'll be seeing that in a little while. But for now, we're going to finish casting these opening rounds. And I will see you guys in the next set of matches. I've yet to check out who it is, but I'll see you there.